Welcome to OG Foundation, capital of the sovereign state of Velodium. I am your host, Sovereign Non-Velodium, and this week I'm going to be working on the crenelations on the firewall. It's Saturday morning, and I just put this piece of rebar up here to kind of modify the shape of this, and bent these two pieces of rebar. And I'm walking out here for the first time, and I want to document the first step from this side over to that side. It's a bit sketchy, but I think it can hold me right about there. And I've done it. I've officially bridged the gap, and that's awesome. Oh boy, probably should have some railing there. Especially because it slopes a little bit down that way. Yeah, so I'll have to think about railing. Railing without ferrocement, so mostly just rebar railing. We'll see how I can accomplish that. But yeah, that'll be one of the things for this week, and then just closing up those holes, making this nice, and then starting to crenelate this sidewall, get it straight, and then try to get like something that's like finished on the far side, so then I can start working this way. Something needs to get finished. That's the goal for this week, finish something. Alright, so it's Saturday afternoon. I cut the crenelation into this top panel, though it's not exactly level on top. And it's doing all sorts of weird curvy things because of the rebar, but I kind of adjusted it as best as I could, and it's just going to be somewhat angled. But the first mortar that I'm doing is going to be on the floor here to fully connect this deck layer, and then maybe just tie in like this piece of remesh and do a little bit of mortar on, like, I add another piece of rebar there, and I think I'm just gonna pretty much like wrestle with this wall as I put it in to try to get it as straight as possible, and I'll end up starting from the far end, but not on the first batch, but first batch going on the floor here and some other places, maybe some more here. Alright, Saturday evening, and this additional piece of rebar that I added across here got really well mortared in. And I basically got coverage on most of the flat areas and kind of like one connection point right there between the flat and the arch. That'll take a little bit more work to transition. I think I'll put excuse me. I think I'll put a drain over there. But yeah, really good progress with the one batch, and I got good coverage on the outside of there and a little bit underneath from that ladder and stuff, so good for today. And you can see I think I'm going to start working with forms over here and prepping for maybe a batch tomorrow, but we'll see. So it's Sunday morning, and yesterday evening I did another late batch, which was, oh, this is really cemented on there. Oh boy, I didn't expect that. This is like on there. Oh boy. Oh, there we go. So I got like one bucket of mortar, and the rest was all concrete. And all the concrete went into this little hole here. I wasn't able to get the other sides of it, but I might just do the other sides with like more of a mortar because it's narrower, like a wet mortar with a lot of fiber to get around it. And then the idea is just to have a hollow core so that the drain is accessed. So I got that on there, and then over here I got coverage on this sidewall with the one mortar bucket. So it kind of bows out a little bit there, but I'm still happy with it. And it's going to start with a crenel, so a lower point in the wall, and then it'll go to this first merlon. And the first little sidewall there I'm going to make less thin, so it doesn't get in the way of the door, whereas these ones here are kind of like a a standard kind of 8-inch width. All right, so I should be able to, I got a good bit of lath, so I'm going to work on making some progress on the sidewall today, as well as I'll probably I'll want to get a wet batch of mortar to cover all of this, essentially. And once I can, so I also got to figure out how to get a ladder onto this side so I can finish the arch section under there. So there's a bit of metal work to do, but definitely if I could get like a layer of lath across the whole bottom, like from here all the way over to there, that would be really cool. And then as soon as I can, I also want to just focus on getting some part finished as I'm working this way. So I'm definitely going to focus on that end point on the wall and work that this way. So let's see how it goes today. Sunday around noon, and I did a line of lath at the bottom to prep and adjusted a bit of rebar. And even though that's not the final shape, I'm trying to push the bottom in as much as possible to get it as level as possible. You can see it kind of is angled in the middle there, but that'll help its strength, even though anyways it'll be fine. So I got a showing, and then I just got to staple that section, cut a few wires, and I'm ready for mortar. So by the end of the day, Sunday, I got more coverage on this sidewall here. There's at least some connection to get all the way across to there. And then got a couple more buckets into this, the base of this tower thing. This was all mortar on top, and I think my form is kind of collapsing, but I think it'll hold up good enough to have clear access to the drain. And the mortar was wet enough to, hopefully anyways, get in all the narrow spaces in between the form and like the lath on the outside, so that will be structurally integral to basically bypass that little bend in the wall there with the rebar that goes straight, and then one in the bottom too. So that tower base needs to be really reinforced. So maybe tomorrow I can take those pieces of insulation out and see how it did. And that's it for today. Sunday early evening, and there's lots of tedious trowel work to get a first coat on a lot of that, then second and third coat on some of it, like over here. But good progress for one batch. Tuesday morning, and I got a form up, prepped that Merlon, and I'm in the middle of a batch of mortar. In the third bucket, got coverage on all that. I got some railing up, rebar railing, because I realized without it someone would certainly die on this feature at some point in time. So that'll be a good safety mechanism, and just mortaring in the bottom for now, but I'll put like a little ferrocement probably around them, something like that. And just wanted to give you an update on this. And you can see on the back wall here the raw, and then the areas that I could reach, and how that ties the rebar in and everything. Okay, so back to mortar. Alright, so here's one coat on this Merlon. It's Tuesday evening, and I have prepped the next two Merlons with lath and some forms, and ready for mortar, and hopefully I can get some good coverage. Also, this form idea using these soft insulation panels worked pretty well. There's like a little hole there where it didn't go all the way down, and a little over there, so I'm going to reach in there with mortar to clean it up a little bit, but generally the drain is looking good, and the idea generally worked. Alright, on to mortar. Alright, so end of the day, whatever day it is today, and got a second coat on this. So probably tomorrow I'll be able to take the form off the back, and then that Merlon is getting pretty darn close to being done, even though I can't reach the outside on all of it. But that's alright. Once it's all solid in there, I'll be able to reach over a little bit further. And got a little bit of spotty coverage on that, but pretty good coverage on that crenel, this Merlon, that Merlon, and that crenel. And then some more on the wall over here. And then extra coverage, double coverage on these pieces of rebar to get them pretty solidly in there. So good progress for today, and cleaning up. You want to inspect the latest, boys? Go ahead, lead the way. Hey, don't walk on the fresh stuff over there. Hey, no, don't walk on that. Don't walk on the fresh stuff, boys. Just look at the Merlons. You want to go in the tower? You can go right too. Just don't walk on that. So, 2 batches done today. Second coat on the Merlons. And getting a little coverage here so I can easily walk across. I bet the boys will go in if I lead the way. Careful about the tools and stuff. It's a screen, it's alright. Doesn't do anything. What do you think, boys? Wanna come in here? Oh, that screen is really scary. It moved. Scary screen. Alright, back out, back out. So now I'm gonna do some metal prep for the next Merlon or two over here. Go there. He's got too much energy, doesn't he, hon? Too much energy. Juke. Go get him, hon. Go get him. Let's see it, boys. I'm ready. Come here. Oh, he's pooped. He's pooped. Are you pooped, hon? Pooped. Beautiful sunset. Noon on Thursday, and I'm bending a cattle panel for the top of that little enclosed space, or the wall, the top wall of the enclosed space. So it's got 2 bends, did with a wrench. and gonna try to get it up there now. So I didn't really think this through. I don't really have a way of getting this thing up and over there, really. I think I would have to get on top to be able to get it over there. Unless maybe I put a strap. Maybe if I go around there, throw a strap around here, put a strap on this corner, maybe I could pull it over there? I suppose it's worth a try. So that kind of worked. I've got this strap to the bottom so it doesn't just fall out. And then I'm trying to get that strap to kind of hold that. And I got this corner tied off, so I should be able to ratchet this strap and pull that up. See how it goes. Alright, so it's Thursday evening. I prepped the back sides of these Merlons so I can get a wet coat on the back side. And then got forms up over here for this Merlon, and metal up for these canals. And then I got that cattle panel up there, and got a piece of lath kind of started over here. And there's a bit of coverage I can get over here. Here's one of the areas where I'm using this plastic stuff. So there's lath below, plastic, lath above. There's plastic stuff there. I'm gonna see if I can find a form for this sidewall and then get to mortar. Thursday evening, storm clouds on the horizon, hoping they will be passing to the north. This new cattle panel that I got up on kind of the whole face of it, it extends beyond the edge of the tower, so I'm not sure if I'll cut it or bend it. But that's just how it is for now. I think I'm going to cut and sort of bend this part into that piece of rebar so it's like angled in, I'm pretty sure. That'll be a good structural kind of shape. And I did a 2/3 batch of mortar. Got coverage on this wall. And this whole Merlon here. And these two canals. And that sidewall. And then also on the backs of these. So the one thing is that it's pretty much all vertical faces. So even if it gets some rain, it shouldn't be too exposed, but it's still so fresh that it would be damaged. So hopefully it doesn't rain. And that's all for today. It's Friday morning, and there was an attack last night right after 3 a.m. So some of these young girls, 3 of them were up in a tree, and most likely a raccoon came and got one of the golden comets. And then I was awoken by hearing the distress of the chicken, so I responded as quickly as possible with the shotgun and a light. More feathers over here. So the raccoon took it up into that tree. So I like heard it, and then it was dark and wet, and just like I'm in my underwear, just like crashing through the bushes, and then climbing the tree, talking shit to the raccoon with the shotgun in one hand and a tiny little flashlight in the other. I'm like bear hugging and like climbing up this tree at 3 something. And then I got the chicken. I recovered the chicken that the raccoon stole. And I was gonna kill the raccoon, but I couldn't find it. It was too stealthy. These are all the chicks from this year. At 3 of 5 different kinds. So that's the only golden comet left. One of them died as a chick, or like as a baby, real early in the first few days. And then the other one died last night, so that girl is the only golden comet now. And I was just thinking how lucky it was that none of the chickens were lost the other day. And now we lost a girl. But I guess it's one of the risks of sleeping outside. So here's the chicken. I chased it down and recovered it, and we'll see if we eat it or what happens, or I'll take it out and make sure another critter gets it, but not that raccoon. That raccoon needs to die now. The chick recovered from the raccoon is now going to be food for the residents here. Alright, check it out. So I'm on the last 2 buckets of this batch. Got a second coat on the Merlot over there. And here I want to show you this plastic stuff. So because there's so much depth in between the cattle panel and the form, the plastic stuff works great. You can see how it smears right over it. There's some parts where there's no backing and it still holds it just fine. And yeah, the plastic is way better than like a fiberglass mesh if you're on a vertical surface. It's basically just as good as lath for holding, it seems, except where it's loose. Where it's loose, it has big problems, and you can't push it through quite as good. But for like an application like this, the plastic works really well over here, and then there's like lath here. There's some plastic without a backing. I don't know how that's gonna go. Probably not very well. It's gonna be very hard to apply over plastic without backing. So I'll see if I can get a form up there, but I'll get some good coverage on this part here. Alright, so I just wanted to amend, like, where there's maybe more than 2 inches of exposed of the plastic without a backing, it wouldn't really stick and it would fall off. But like 2 to 3 inches it could handle. I didn't even try to do over there without the backing, but got some good coverage on this and all the way up there. And I don't know if I'm going to do more mortar today, but that's it for now. Oh yeah, so I just wanted to add that I basically, well, I don't know if it's totally finished, but I was working from that corner this way, getting more and more finished. So that's kind of the goal for the start of the week, and went pretty well. I'm up on the Molly Stark Tower, and the boys are doing a little hedging at the end of the day on Friday. Alright, so here's the raccoon play-by-play. All this is wet, and I've got a shotgun and I've got a little light, and then I gotta make my way down here because I hear it coming over here. But then there's these like wet plants everywhere, so I start swinging my shotgun back and forth to clear the plants out of the way to figure out how to get to this darn tree. And then I finally figure out how to get to the tree, and then I see it up there making a noise like up there. And then so I got to figure out how to climb this tree. And then there's, oh look, there's still a chicken feather right there on the trunk. Right there. So then I got to climb this tree, but there's like no branches. And then there's just like a vine wrapping around it. And then when I'm up there with like a light in one hand and a shotgun in the other, I drop the light down here. And then I got to go down there to get the light because I only have one light. And then there's barbed wire over there, like right up against the tree, like right there. So then I'm like falling, and I like put my hand out to lean against the tree, and then just barbed wire just punctures right into my hand, like deep. And I got to like pull my hand off of the barbed wire to get the light. And then the chicken is like up in that, well, it was up higher, and then it like fell down to that creek, that bend in the thing there. So then I had to like shimmy my way up and like got the chicken. Then I had to carry the chicken down with the chicken and the shotgun and the light. And anyways, it was well worth it. And that's the first time I cooked one of my chickens from here. Well, I didn't even cook it, but I ate it. It was really good. And prevented the raccoon from getting her, and she made a good meal. And that's the end of the episode. So that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be finishing up those crenelations and that, working on that tower next week. So see you next week.